Ah, the Barbary Slave Trade, because why should the Atlantic have all the fun? While the Atlantic slave trade was busy inflicting pain on African captives, the Barbary Pirates thought, hey, we want to join the pain parade too. Imagine a beachside market with enthusiastic slavers pitching their latest deals. Get your hot, fresh, sunburnt Europeans here. Step right up and exchange your loot for a brand new white slave. These are the newest models, and they come with their own set of skills. Cash only, and no refunds or exchanges. But hey, let's give credit where credit is due. The Barbary slave trade did have a knack for diversity. They believed in equality and had a no-discrimination policy, capturing Europeans from various countries and backgrounds, from Italy all the way to Iceland. It was like the United Nations of unfreedom, proving that human rights abuses know no borders. In fact, an estimated 1.5 million European slaves were taken from the continent. Let's pause to revel in the history of how they stumbled into the shackles of their misfortune. Their enslavement can be credited to none other than the Barbary Pirates. But who exactly were they? Interestingly enough, the term Barbary doesn't describe uncivilized, ruthless barbarians, but rather a product of language confusion. Barbary is just the hip, anglicized version of Berber, a reference to the native non-Arab inhabitants of that sprawling region hugging the North African coast, from Morocco to Libya. Forget about sword-wielding savages. We're talking about a bunch of folks with a knack for living right under the sweltering sun. And lo and behold, the Spanish decided to have a little party known as the Reconquista. They were essentially taking back Spain from their previous Muslim conquerors. This little party involved repossessing a significant chunk of Spain and leaving the doors wide open for an influx of nations to trapeze in and out of the Mediterranean like it was a bustling bazaar. Treasures galore danced on the high seas. Spices to tickle the taste buds, gold and gems to make dragons jealous, raw materials to fuel dreams, and enough food to sate the appetites of entire kingdoms. Now, you'd think that with all this glittering wealth floating about, pirates would be aiming to score the big prizes, right? That's where you're wrong, because the biggest hit on the pirate jackpot was human beings. Yes, you read that correctly. Move over, diamonds. The real gems were walking, talking, and sadly, very much unwilling. The ancient Romans had been exchanging Slavs, Greeks, Africans, and pretty much anyone with a pulse from every nook and cranny of the ancient world. Even the Nordic seafarers, the legendary Vikings, thought it was a bright idea to stock up on slaves while pillaging and plundering. And it made them rich. Slavery persisted until relatively recently, even gracing the soils of the United States with its modern presence. Of course, nowadays, the only slavery we're left with is corporate slavery, where people trade cubicles for chains and meetings for minimum wage. While the typical millennial is dealing with our corporate overlords, the European slaves back in the day had an arguably worse 9-to-5. For captured able-bodied men, a future of demanding physical work awaited. This might entail laboring within various mines located along the Barbary coastline, which runs alongside the unforgiving Sahara Desert, making the scorching conditions particularly harsh. Other men with skills in shipbuilding might find themselves compelled to engage in that occupation. These were the lucky ones. Among the shittiest fates for men was to become a galley slave. The existence of a galley slave was usually brief and exceedingly wretched. These men were positioned at the ship's oars, their bodies chained both to the deck and to the oars themselves, leaving them perpetually bound. This translated to ceaseless rowing while enduring frequent lashings and beatings from the crew. Their food, consumed at their seats, was likely composed of discarded fish parts and decaying vegetables. The most appalling aspect was that galley slaves were never released from their shackles even to go to the washroom. Consequently, they defecated and urinated while chained to the oars, causing their seating areas and bodies to become encrusted with waste. As you can probably imagine, the constant rubbing of their skin against the oars, their feet scraping the deck, and Their buttocks and thighs pressed against the benches led to frequent cuts and abrasions on the slaves' bodies. But hey, let's not stop at mere superficial discomfort. With every cut and abrasion came a delightful bonus: infections, diseases, and of course a dash of the dramatic death. Let's not forget the gangrene and maggots. If you're going to throw a party of pain, you might as well invite the most gruesome guests. So there they were, these charming companions, feasting on flesh like it was a grand banquet. The women did not fare any better. They were sorted by attractiveness and health. Because the pirates found it important to assess the quality of your human merchandise, just like you would with, say, a choice cut of meat at the market. For those who were less attractive, they were promptly designated for the role of household help. They were rewarded with the joyous privilege of toiling away in kitchens, fields, and homes. This was their chance to demonstrate their culinary endeavors, while basking in the warmth of domestic servitude. Let's not forget about the pretty ones. These fortunate ladies got the royal treatment. They were like the VIPs of the human trade world, destined for greatness. Their ticket to stardom? Why, serving as decorative ornaments in the harem of important figures. Or they were used as concubines. What an honor. A chance to brighten up the lives of powerful men with their beauty. Corporate servitude would still be a lot better than being the target of the Barbary pirates. Touching down on unguarded shores, they approached villages under the cloak of darkness, their intention being the capture of unsuspecting victims. This was effective, with almost the entire population of Baltimore being seized in this manner in the year 1631. This raid stands out as one of the most horrifying exploits undertaken by the Barbary pirates. More than 200 corsairs, equipped with muskets, iron bars, and flaming torches, made landfall on the shores of Baltimore. In an orchestrated crescendo of chaos, a prearranged signal unleashed them into action, storming the homes and wrenching the slumbering inhabitants from their beds. More than 100 individuals fell victim to this brutal assault, destined to embark on a harrowing voyage back to Algeria. Upon their arrival, the village's misfortunes don't stop. Men are destined for the exciting world of labor, because who doesn't dream of toiling away as a slave? Women are designated as corsair concubines, because every swashbuckling pirate needs a little love, right? And the cherry on top, the children, oh those innocent souls, are groomed to join the ranks of the Ottoman army's slave corps. Because why simply ruin lives when you can raise an army of reluctant soldiers while you're at it? Luckily, the Barbary pirates' reign of terror did not last long. Corsair activities started to dwindle in the later part of the 17th century due to the increasing strength of European naval forces, which compelled pirates to stop their assaults on European ships. However, it wasn't until the early 19th century that both the United States of America and certain European countries began to resist the Barbary pirates more vigorously. The Barbary coast's slave trade officially came to an end when European governments enacted laws granting freedom to slaves.